Good evening, everybody. This is Dr. Rao coming to you with another edition on my 6 o'clock streaming rooms on several platforms at the same time. I'm streaming on Clubhouse and Wisdom app and YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and the Facebook has a couple of groups. I manage them. How are you all? I hope you are doing well. And we started yesterday the new series where we're going to take the current issues of entrepreneurs. How do we increase the energy of the entrepreneurship, not only with what is scientifically known in the modern society, but also have some hacks from the ancient wisdom. I'm a yoga practitioner and a student of Advaita, and I bring those hacks into our modern life. So how do you enhance the human beings who are moderns, having all this stress and burnout and all that? And how do we really help the entrepreneurs by giving them some hacks? That is the purpose of this room. Okay, energy for entrepreneurs, enhancing the human being by taking several aspects of our personality, our needs, and all that. Tonight we're going to talk about sleep. I think that's a big topic wherever I go. Lots of times people will be talking about sleep somehow, right? They're always looking for that quality sleep, and either they don't have the time, or they have too much work, or they don't have the facilities, or they don't have the preparation for it, or they're not aware of it, or they may be taking sleeping pills too soon, or taking something artificially to help them to sleep. But generally, people who are working hard and then tiring their body completely out, they go and collapse for the sleep. That's okay, but then they don't know how to quiet their mind. So they may sleep some, but they wake up and then they can't go back to sleep again. So sleep is something you want to have, and also you want to have adequate, and you want to really make it a habit. That way your energies are better maintained, right? So I was going to address 4 things today on the sleep. Okay, I'm going to address sleep environment, how it should be, and then how to avoid our electronic devices. That's another thing. The third thing is, how can you have a sleep schedule? How can you regularize it? And then how can you create a relaxing bedtime ritual? Okay, these 4 things we are going to address. First of all, as a physician, I have seen many number of elderly people who cannot sleep. So you get to understand with the age, requirement of sleep may go down. And also you may not have to sleep more than 4 hours, and then you will be okay. But then some people take sleeping pills, so that messes up their reticular activity system, which is intimately connected with the sleep, right? So even in my family, there are people who take sleeping medications for the sleep, because they were kind of got used to them way back. And so when I came along, when I was talking about all these things, they said, we missed the boat. No, that is true, because the younger you are, the better you should be able to sleep naturally, right? But the alarming trend right now is that people are taking melatonin like it's nothing, right? But then that should have been secreted with your sleep cycle, with your diurnal cycle, with your rhythms, body clock, right? People are messing up with something they cannot repair later on, and then they're meddling with something that they should not. So my first suggestion would be, try to be natural with the sleep. Okay, create a schedule, create a routine, create an environment, and then avoid all the devices as much as possible. At least half an hour before you go to sleep, and half an hour you get up from this after the sleep. Right. That is something I always talk about, and I've been advising people about it. I myself do that too. I switch on off, and then I don't want them to dominate me, right? So I don't really work that much late unless there is something like somebody called me for a patient, or somebody called me for something hospital issue or something like that, But if it doesn't really involve a major thing, they don't really call me, and I'm able to go back to sleep also, even if somebody wakes me up. So that's a different matter. We're going to go into that, how you can achieve a state where you can slip into deeper sleep right away, and how you can have quality of sleep, in the sense you don't have to sleep so many hours, but then whatever hours you sleep, that should be quality. Then when you get up, the test is, how do you feel your energy, how do you feel with your awareness, so the purpose of the sleep is usually to restore your system, kind of, make your body work very well with energy, and also you be more alert and aware. You don't need any coffee, tea, or any of the drinks to boost you up. So there are a lot of problems with the energy drinks. They kind of put caffeine and all that, so you get used to certain kind of stimulation, and later on that stimulation is not working anymore because it gains tolerance, right? So there are so many problems. So let's first see how many hours certain age groups are. Obviously, when you are very, very infant, you don't need anything, but they sleep a lot. That's a good thing, right? And then as you are growing up until teen years, and through the teen years, you need at least 8 to 9 hours, every night. And also, you don't need naps in that age group, but then later on in the middle age and later on in the old age, 50s, 60s, like that, you may have a afternoon nap apart from the sleep that you have. That's good too. But then I recommend, don't have a longer nap, have a short nap, maybe up to 20 minutes. That's good. So when you do the napping, also you follow these four principles. Have a very conducive sleep environment. You can use some cool, dark, quiet room. You can pull the shades, or you can put some, you know, uh, eye mask, or you could say some earplugs, or white noise producing things. People do that. So all these things minimize your noise disruptions, right? And you can also use a comfortable mattress, foam maybe, and the pillows that will support your neck and all that. Otherwise, you'll wake up with a neck pain and all that, especially as you are going into advanced stage. Okay, so that is about the sleep environment. You just go and create an ambience where the bedroom is used mainly to sleep, and then you don't have TV there, you don't have distractions there. And then when the moment you walk in there, you should be invited to sleep, go to sleep, unwind, rest, and then go to sleep. So a lot of provisions are there, but at least your physical environment, talking about very comfortable, firm mattress and pillows, and you should have light is adjusted so that it is dark, cool, and quiet. And then you can use some eye mask or earplugs, something like that, if you need them. So it's more like a sleep friendly environment you are creating, so that you can sleep better. Okay. And uh, I talked about avoiding all the electronic devices, because there is a blue light that is emitted from the electron devices, right? Like smartphones, tablets, and laptops, and all this. They can interfere with the natural sleep-awake cycle. That's why you have to establish a screen-free period before bed. And that is what I always recommend. And then this is a very important thing these days. At least an hour. Okay, device screen free period before bed. Okay, and then you can have something like reading a book or practicing relaxation techniques. I can tell you a lot about them, and having a meaningful conversation with um, yeah, a loved one can produce better sleep. Some people take a glass of milk or warm shower or relaxation stretches and all. They're all okay, fine too. So they uh, avoiding this invasion of the technology into our lives and also keeping them in their place. Okay, that's the second part. Okay, so we were talking about what should be the sleep environment and how we should avoid this technology invading into our bedroom, right? And third thing is you got to really have a regular sleep schedule. Okay, most of the people sleep very regularly. I understand with the work schedules, with a lot of things that we go through in the modern life, entertainment, parties, so many things happen to us too, right? We can, but by and large, you should be able to establish a regular sleep schedule that will regulate your body internal clock. Actually, some people are morning type people and some people are evening type people. Suppose you are morning type person, then you wake up in the morning, you do the best work in the morning. And then as your day wanes into the evening, your energies may dip. If you are a nighttime person, then you start working from the evening up until the midnight and below midnight. Right? So it depends upon how your body clock is set. Actually, this is used by corporations to optimize worker output. To help the worker out, so that he can function better at the best times that are suited for him. Okay, so they actually measure the temperature morning till evening and figure out whether you are a morning type person or evening type of person, and then you will give you schedules or shifts they call according to your inner clock that was determined like that. That I have seen that so many times. So if you um, really strive to go to bed and go to bed and wake up at the same time, that will establish that regular sleep schedule somewhat well. Okay, and then the fourth one is we have to create a relaxing bedtime ritual. It could be anything for a lot of people, right? For me, it is more like a gentle stretches and then deep breathing and calming the mind and being in that meditativeness. So I don't have too much to think about. That will really help. Or you can use some aromatherapy. That's something, or lavender or chamomile. These are the things that people use. And also you have to you engage in promoting relaxation. How do you do is yoga gives you like a dead man's pose. That's one thing. And also yoga nidra. In both the thing, what you do is you progressively relax your entire body and also relax with the breath and relax your mind too. So you kind of relax like that. You can have a deep relaxation. You can have a much better sleep. Okay. So those are the preliminary things that are there, and if anybody comes up and was asks me any comments or any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. But basically, sleep is very important. It has deeper angles in ancient wisdom, where they say you have the wakefulness, and then uh, sleep with dreams and sleep without dreams, and then you have the deep sleep. That's what basically they kind of divide. When you are awake during the day, what is happening? Both your senses and your body and your mind is working, right? That's when you are awake. And then you try to go to bed and sleep. Then your body may fall off. Your senses may not be really receptive to anything outside, but your dream That means your mind is still going on. So with the dreams, basically mind activity. And lots of times that is from the things that we have done during the day. During the day, we kind of allow ourselves to be distracted, and we kind of don't pay any attention. So one trick is just to pay attention to whatever you are doing. That kind of attention paying really helps you to sleep better at night time, because you are not accumulating from whatever you are doing, or you are not recollecting anything. You just go moment to moment, and then you complete your work, and then everything is done. So you don't have anything in the mind in the form of the past or the future, right? So once you have that, then you will be fine. Okay. Then when you come home after a day of work where you are completely attentive to every action that you are doing, then automatically your mind has nothing else to do, because you have paid complete attention. Means that you are with it. When you are doing some work, you are with it, and then after it is done, you kind of remove it from your mind. If you go on doing that a series of actions, but then not really thinking about lots of things that are already done, or you are thinking about things that are to come, and then neglecting what you are doing, so you're basically not focused, not concentrated, not being here and now. So that kind of thing is not good, right? But if you experiment with it, and if you pay complete attention to whatever you are doing throughout the day, you will find you are slipping into the sleep when time comes. You are going to sleep deeper, and you feel refreshed when you wake up. All these things you can feel for yourself. So try that. Be attentive to everything that you do during the day, and then finish them off. After you're done, don't go back into that. Okay. So that kind of thing really helps you to sleep better. But before you sleep, maybe you can try to see that you can empty your mind a little bit. That means if your mind is going on a wheel, worry wheel, and if you are thinking about something that you may not have do anything with it to help yourself, right? But you're going on just worrying about it, thinking about it. So that kind of thing you don't want to get into, okay? Especially before you go to sleep. So then you say, that's not important. Let me put it in the backstage. Then the more you are with the thing what's going on in the present, the more you can avoid this worry thinking, going back or going front and all that. Okay, so that will be very helpful for you. And then when you come home, try to finish off everything before you go to bed, and then go to your rituals and everything, and then really focus on being here and now with complete attention. That will help you to reduce your dreams. That means the mind that's going to be active during the sleep will go down the time it has, and then you will be able to sleep better. Okay. So these are all different ways of way we can help ourselves to get a deep sleep every night. And especially entrepreneurs, they have to optimize their quality of sleep, at least 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night. And you can prioritize sleep in this way. It will contribute to your increased energy levels, improved focus, and overall well-being. Okay, so entrepreneurs, if you do that, they perform at their best, and they tackle the demands of what the entrepreneur endeavors are producing them. Okay, so this is what I wanted to talk about. Um, Sleep is such a thing that if you deprive yourself on a continuous basis for a while, then it will affect your function during the day, especially if you have to focus, if you have to conduct a lot of meetings and all that. And they expect you to be awake, and they expect you to be alert, and they expect you to be really uh, uh, giving the energy to the thing that is being done, right? So all these things are very important. So pay attention to the sleep, pay attention to your bedroom environment, pay attention to your routines before the sleep, and also make sure that devices are not there at least half an hour to 1 hour before. The phones, the iPads, the uh, laptops, the computers, all these things, because they emanate the blue light. These days, this Facebook and other people are warning us that you have spent this many hours of screen time. Okay, so you want to create some screen-free time before sleep. Okay, so one of the other things, that my favorite thing I want to mention to people is how much time you are spending to unwind yourself. A lot of people are winding themselves with passions, projects, results, and projects into the future, and competitive advantage, and then really want to make a lot of money and all that, right? So people are kind of compete. They kind of get themselves tightened up in their own mind. So you got to unwind all that. You got to unwind the mental tension producing the physical problems, right? So you have to go to the source, and you got to identify the mental activity that is winding up, and then unwind it. Suppose a thought is going on in your mind, we call it like a worry cycle, right? Going on thinking about the same thing again and again and again. So what you have to do is you want to watch all that as a witness. Then the thought will be able to be separated as an object to you, and you can cut it down. And then the moment you are aware of that, the thought comes to a stop, stand still completely. Okay, so remember that. But unwinding yourself takes some time, maybe 20 to 30 minutes or 40 minutes, something like that. So what you do is you just relax. You let everything calm down. Don't go into the paper. Don't go to the TV. Don't go into the smartphone. None of it. Just by yourself. If you can sit by yourself and unwind yourself before you go to sleep, that will help a lot. But people take phone and iPad to the bed, and they are doing a lot of work there, and that in the long run it doesn't help you with the quality of sleep, because you got to be alone, you got to be unwinding, you got to be really focusing on who is coming that way. Okay, so all that important thing you have to understand about sleep, the requirements, and the things that you can do to improve the quality of sleep. Okay, so uh, I think I started around 7 o'clock. I think, so it's too close to seven. Maybe it's 20 minutes since I began to talk about this. Um, yeah, 23 minutes. So that's there on the restream screen. Okay. So anybody has any questions, you can always come up and talk to me. Joyce, you want to come up? Then you could tell me about how what you do about your sleep. I will invite her if she wants to come up. So as I was talking about the sleep, um, lots of times as a physician, it was really deprived of us, especially when we are doing residency, and the young attending doctors, and emergency room assignments, and night times we have to do that, right? At one time, we didn't have any restrictions of how many hours we had to work. We used to work 3 or 4 days in a row, like we were in the hospital, 72 hours in a row, and then we go home, and then next morning we come, and again 72 hours, like that. And then say that was in 80s, and maybe close to early 90s, and then it changed because the government wanted us to take some rest. So even though we went to 7 o'clock in the morning, we were working up until midnight, and then we can shut off the beeper and finish our work and go. But lots of times the finishing work will take early in the mornings, 5 o'clock, and then we go and take a shower and come back for the morning report 7 o'clock. So it was tough. But it went so fast. We don't notice sometimes. We don't develop this introspection of what's going on with this, what can we do with the sleep and all that. But then, me being a yoga practitioner, I wanted to bring that into my need for the sleep, right? So I was always a morning person. I was used to the regular hours and all that. As a yoga practitioner, you will be using regular, everything, food or sleeping or exercise, everything is regular, right? But as a residency was so busy, internal medicine in New York, all sorts of things we had to do. We had a big a list of patients we had to manage and all that. But then once I understood this relaxation, unwinding, and being attentive all time, which I told you all the way about. When I went to work, I'm very attentive to whatever I'm doing, and then I took in between some breaks, and then before bed, I put the devices away and then unwound myself, and then some relaxation exercise like a that calf pose, the dead man's pose, and yoga nidra, and mild relax exercises of yoga, the stretches, breathing, all those things help, and the meditation too. They helped a lot. So to the degree when I was working night calls, lots of times they will allow us maybe sleep for 20-30 minutes. But before these techniques I kind of used now, I was having a real difficult problem with going back to sleep. But now, after this, even they came and interrupted me during the night. I was cool. I was okay. Yeah, they need me. That's why I'm here. That's why I have to go. That's a professional thing to do. But when I come back to go to bed, this kind of unwinding, this kind of relaxing myself, this kind of emptying the mind or relaxing the body and doing some of the things I told you about environment, about schedule and all that, right? That helped. That helped immensely for me. And then that became like a way with my people who are working with me, doctors, because they all want the sleep, right? Then I began to fine tune it, understand it, and then also identify what is that is provoking them not to go to bed early, or if they get up, why can't they go back to sleep? And then when they're sleeping also, are they really having quality sleep? All those things have come over the years. I think I started this in 1985 about enhancing the humans. One of the main thing is sleeping. If you know how to sleep, how to allow sleep to naturally heal you from the all the turmoil that you have gone through, both your body and the mind. And that in the long run help the chronic diseases or heal better with the things that people have. So many benefits have come around. But with all the doctors and directors, everybody I'm working with, they not only lacked sleep, but they also suffered from chronic headaches. And they were not able to get roused unless they really understand the sleep cycle and then improve it. So that happened. And then I was doing this without any medications. So people felt that is really a boon if you are able to sleep well, qualitatively, and then restores your energy better without all the medication that you take, and they put your sleeping mechanism out of commission. Right? But basically, then once you take the sleep pills for a while, then you will have to take sleeping pills forever. That's the case. So it's very difficult to get back to your internal clock if you sacrifice it one time. Especially the longer you are on the difficulties. There are a lot of patients came to me for sleeping problem, but many of them are on the sleeping medications for a long time. So if I take them away directly, immediately, that is going to cause a lot of problems. So we used to have a plan. We used to do very minute degree of reduction of medication, and then once they really understood what it is and picked up the principles and really slept the way I was talking about, and they were sold because they themselves could see directly what is the effect on their body and all that. So sleep is very, very important, especially if you are going for some time away. then you better be self-reliant in establishing all these things we talked about. Okay, so that is some of the yoga nidra and also the calf's pose and all. They are very familiar now in the Western literature. People use them quite often. For example, this anesthesia departments, some of them are using this body scanning from head to toe to relax, and to the extent that some of the anesthesia needs are reduced or not at all given anesthesia, because these people learned how to relax themselves to the degree where they induce relaxation response, right? And then that relaxation response really induces a whole body relaxation once it is initiated. To do that, you got to do this body scanning. Hi, Sanya.
Hi, Dr.
I already talked about 31 minutes now. Almost the talk is completely done.
Yeah, I heard the last part.
Yeah.
The body scan.
Yeah, I was talking about four parts of this sleeping thing, um, sleeping environment, and how to avoid electronic devices, and have a regular sleeping schedule, and create a relaxing bedtime ritual, you know. And also, I talked about yoga nidra, and I talked about this dead man pose. You remember I showed you after we did yoga asanas, we did the dead man's pose, you know. So that's very important too.
Yeah, I recently, yeah, the body scan part. Also, the segment pose is great.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing that like twice a day, right?
Yeah. I recommend every time you do a yoga routine, um, when you need your body, when you really do the good deep breathing exercises, end that session with this dead man's pose, corpse pose. And that is really helps you to relax deeper. There are three levels actually. I will not show you all the three, but actually three levels of relaxation. That takes its own time, you know, which is good. Anything you want me ask Sanya about this sleep?
No, yeah, it's just a matter of putting.
Oh, you were not here yesterday, right? I started this new series. I'm calling this Enhance the Humans. How can we increase energy for the entrepreneurs? You know, that is the energy boosters for entrepreneurs. Yesterday, gave a introduction. I told them I will do this for several weeks, this particular topic, and then take one thing at a time, and I will go on. So I started with the sleep, you know, and then tomorrow I'll talk about optimal exercise, like that. There are series of topics I elected that will help you to be a better entrepreneur. You like it?
Yeah, I got to listen to some part of it. I haven't finished all.
Yeah. So that is what I'm going to focus on. I can go as deep as they want, but then at least I want to keep it to something relatable, probably. But,
Yeah, it's I think for entrepreneurs though, a lot of the times, we have our minds are everywhere at once, right?
yeah, yeah,
Focus the energies toward one, so we can do like what we talked about, right? Around one thing at a time. Yes, you can do many things, but
yeah.
but one thing at a time, right?
Yeah. That is there. That is on the list. How to help people to be more attentive, more focused, and all that. That's a big topic actually, but I'm going to keep it simple. What I'm looking for is I'm not able to invite people. I'm just opening the room, so maybe I should start doing that. But I don't get the time. I guess I come right maybe 10 minutes before I get it, and I don't want to go through all that invitations and all of that. So I just open. We are friends like you who are interested, they will come. You know, so if they have time, you know. Otherwise, they can listen to the replay. So I just delivered whatever service I want to provide, right? So that's what I'm doing. People come on the wisdom, and then there's only one way I'm relating the LinkedIn and all that. Because if I open the LinkedIn for the live people to come, probably some people will come there too. Then I can
Yeah.
talk to them too also. Yeah.
I think for LinkedIn, we do a little more focused stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because you have to prep some stuff in ahead of time.
Yeah.
Too.
I mean, this is like I told people I will be here every day 6 o'clock. That's the commitment I made because I'm pretty busy during the day. So I just want to end the day with this kind of room, which is kind of nice for me and for my friends also. So 1 hour every day on social media. Other people I may switch it on. I may be there. Some talks I listen to like a radio, but I don't get to participate all the time because I have meetings and all these things going on. So this is going to be a series I'm going to do, and I'm going to do the depth as much as they want. If somebody has some, for example, you have experience of deep sleep, and then you want to tell about it, that's fine. Or you want to ask a question about that, that's how I want to engage. Otherwise, they are taking me to all sorts of deeper subjects, instead of staying on the subject. This may be more practical. I made videos on these things, Sanya. So yeah, I will also bring them, and then they can go to the link and see them. I'm going to post them on LinkedIn and also Substack. Those are the videos. I made 60 videos last month altogether. They're more fun though, because I don't need much time. But usually the text is done by me with different subjects. Like this one also, I said, what are the energy boosters that we could suggest to entrepreneurs? So if you want the boosters in terms of sleep thing, first of all, you have to do things that will help you to sleep deeper than what you are doing now. Okay. So, number one tip I would give is pay attention to everything you are doing during the day. That's what I do. Whatever I'm doing, I want to give complete attention to. That means what? I don't think around it, unless it is related. I just want to pay attention to what is happening, what is in front of me, that kind of thing. My presence of mind during the meetings, during the relationship meetings with the patient family or anybody, administration and all that. Right? So we have so many meetings, and there's so many people consult. Maybe one or two a day at least they will come and consult. Then I have to be giving them the time that I allotted to them complete. So whatever I do, even if I'm watching a cricket match and all of that, I will be completely watching the match. Right? Like this morning, I watched the final of our Indian Premier League cricket, and by the way, my team won. So and that too, they won last ball. They need to make 3 more runs, and he made the 4. So I was delighted. Yeah, we had fun. Me and my wife, we both watched together, and so we had fun with that. They had to, yeah, they had the rain and all that, so it was disturbed. But then they finally started it, and they won it. So it was going on for 7 weeks. Every day one region team and all that. But we don't get to see all of them, only important matches. But whenever I watch that, I do watch it, I enjoy it completely. So that way we allot the time for that as a relaxation exercise. That helps a lot. So that is the number one tip, Sanya. Whatever you do, complete attention. Don't do multitasking. Okay? Do one task at a time. Even for a few minutes, if you are doing only one task, just stay with the task. Don't do too many things. How does it sound to you?
Oh, sounds great. I forgot my mute button.
Are you doing that though? We have been practicing that for so many months now.
Yeah, I focus on the joy.
Mm.
because I really like that. And of course, in doing so, it keeps you in that focus in that moment,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I love doing what I'm doing. It's just like, but I get distracted from other things, right? If I focus on that I really enjoy and I'm creating something that is going to help a lot of people, then
Mm.
my my outlook on things, it's just time just flows by, right? And it
Yeah.
goes
Yeah.
fast.
It does. It does. So, I mean, it's like kind of being aware whether we are in the task in the present moment. That requires your mind to be here and now. So deep breathing will help that, and really reflecting on your activity and finally coming across, am I really doing attention to whatever I'm doing, will incrementally improve you. Suppose you are very distracted, unfocused all the time, then what happens is that becomes a habit, and then you regain the habit and you go into that. But if you are really here and now in the present and able to watch it, what happens is your requirement of the dream and the time for the dreams will go down dramatically, and then the deep sleep time will increase. That is a simple fact, but then a lot of people do, especially now, multitasking, going that way, this way, in the name of productivity. um, as far as I'm concerned, you should be having only few things as your main things are most important for you: your career, your family, and whatever passion you have. The casual attendance of things may not help with this attention. And also being interested in so many things without really going deeper into them. So it all depends on where you are coming from. What's your life purpose? What are the things you are giving importance to? And then you can eliminate all the things that you don't have to do. I will tell you a deeper spiritual thing. You want to hear?
Sounds great, Dr. Bra.
Yeah. What it is if you are the deeper self we are talking about, don't pay attention to what is the non self around you. Think about that. Okay?
Non which?
Non-self. See, there is a self that is the deeper reality of yours, right? And then we call that conscious being or energy or consciousness or God or whatever you say, right? That is within us, deep reality of ours, that has the instruments of mind, instrument of body. Okay, if you are settled in that, then you can manage these instruments of yours, like the body and mind, much better. But if you are not in that and you're in the non-self things, that means too much thinking, negative thinking, or concern about the body, concern about the mind, your opinions or arguments, all those things, they come under non-self. They are not important, but then we can cater to them, right? So the more you are in the self, the more you enjoy the real peace and happiness and joy. So whatever you do will also become like a service to that self which is everywhere and all that. So actually, this is the crux of thing. Are you a spiritual person or spiritual that is undergoing human experience, or you are a human undergoing uh, human experience to elevate yourself to spirituality? Okay, so most of the people think we have to grow into it and all that, but actual fact is you're already the spiritual being going through the human experience. If you have that, then the human selfishness, human concerns, all those things really do not matter that much. Make
Yeah,
sense?
that's what I coming to experience that, right, Dr. Bell? But when we first talked about it, it's just in like almost like knowledge, right? But
Yeah,
to actually go into it, then you just
yeah. That's
get
the
more out
that's
of it,
the
right?
that's the practice. You may understand it, but you don't get to establish yourself in that spiritual being, right? And that's why the mind is so quick and electrical and acts so fast, you get trapped into that again. So all the mind activity is non-self, really. All the things that we do for survival and all these things, all that. But most of the time, people are completely enmeshed by that, and that's why the deeper they are in there, the the difficulty it is. I was reading an introduction of a major book by one Ishwaran, that is the author. He wrote it way back in early 1900s, I think, very early, 1920, something like that. But very famous thing. And so that ran for about 1 hour. But I was so impressed with it. And he made a big point about this. It's not enough you are doing some service, but your essential thing is the service is for getting something out of there for you. And then whatever services you do is all good deeds they're doing for just to make you feel good or get something out of it. That is not going to purify your heart. But this perspective that the spiritual being going through human thing is all the human things that we consider as important and all that, they can take a back seat the moment you realize you are a spiritual being already. What you are going through is a human experience, and don't be limited by that limitations of the human experience. That happens when you are established in the spiritual being. you know so for example, entrepreneur can transform his life like I'm going to serve rather than I'm going to get something out of it. That's a kind of attitude change. I'm not saying everybody should have it. I'm just telling you the phenomena effect of it, and that really makes a big deal. You know, big attitude, everything changes, I think. See, I always want to come here. I don't want to go too deep into the spiritual matters, but I end up in them.
Because in many ways, it is the process, right?
Yeah,
For me, anyways.
yeah, it is a process. It's a
Yeah.
But look at this perspective. Though. It's not that one thing is good or other, but it's a question of how we are inclined, probably. So I'm not going to look down on people who are just having the later attitude. That's not it. What I'm saying is, I'm happy to do the spiritual being first and then going through the human experience. But doesn't mean everybody has to do that. That's not expectation. You accept them even if they are going through the human experience as the main, and they're trying to do the spiritual ladder evolution. Then you say that's their journey. But what I am saying is, you are more peaceful, happier, and really fulfilled if you take the approach of I am the spiritual being going through a human experience. That's how. In that context, if you want to be like that, then you got to be aware of what are the non-self things or non-spiritual things I'm doing, I'm engaging all the time, that are really making it difficult for me to have the peace and quiet and happiness of a spiritual person. you know that is where it is important for me. Actually, that is one of the things what happens why my sleep is so deep, which was not there before. If you met me 10, 15 years ago, my sleep was not uh, it was there, it was good, better than other people, but still I didn't have that mastery of when they wake me up in the middle of the night, especially you are in the call room, and I'm the only doctor for the entire hospital lots of times. So then they have to wake you up if they need to. But sometimes we work so hard during the day, you got to lie down and take sleep, and you slip into sleep too. But then I never had the complete rejuvenation at the time. But then the final step came like this: are you sleeping on the thought, or are you sleeping on your being? Right? Then thought automatically stopped when you are in the being and then slip into sleep and then wake up and again identify that being. And that means basically spirituality has been slipped into and stay there. And when you wake up, you are also slipped into it again. That one really changed the quality of sleep. I don't know whether I made myself clear or not, but that is think of like this. I don't have many thoughts. I just have cleared it. I'm thinking of whatever is significant for me spiritually, and then sleeping on it. Okay, it's like abiding in the being, they call it. But a lot of people don't even agree that there is a being and then their thought is separate. They think thought is producing the being, which is not so for me, at least. For the ancients also, it was not like that. So it's a big step. It's a big step. But then I'm fortunate, probably I was able to catch hold of it. And then there was this great man. It's called Sadhu Vung. His name is Sadhu Vung. Okay. So he wrote a small blog post or something like that. And I happened to get it from a friend or somebody. And that is where he talks about, even if you're thinking a lot and then you slip down on the thoughts and then you get into sleep, even in 6 8 hours you sleep, you won't have the serenity. And then if you abide in that spiritual energy or consciousness or our bigger self, whatever we call it, where it is thought is kind of uh, stopped, niruddha, we call this, right, in yoga, niruddha. And then you are sleeping on the tranquil self, peaceful, peace itself, happiness itself. Man, that is the one which revives. Actually, that is a very, very deep meditation, Sanya. But if you can touch that even for a few minutes, it's very, very energizing, at least for me. And then you get up really energized. You remember when at 5 o'clock, I'm always ready to do the yoga with you. For me, it's only five, but I already woke up by 3:30 or so, and I was doing a lot of stuff by the time. So that is the level of energy you feel if you have a good quality sleep. Make sense? At least understand. If you cannot do it, that's fine. But at least if it made understandable, then I have done my thing here.
The thing with it, it took me a long time until more recently before I can, like, in terms of the distancing yourself from mind body thing to really access who you are, right, Dr. Rao? Because this is like there's a lot of things involved in being able to do that, right?
Yeah,
yeah. And I didn't realize it until like.
No, relax, yeah, it will come to you. You are on that. Relax, and then don't have to make an effort, but just to be an observer. Whatever doing. I guess I was,
yeah. In my mind, and
Yeah.
how, and
what I like, what you are doing is a good thing is that you are making a connection with the nature. See, at least even at the time when you go to watch the sunset or sunrise, you are with it. That's a very good thing. That's like a, not many people can do that because they go there and they immediately think about, oh, this client is going to call me, this whatever agenda is there and all that, right? And they think that is very responsible, that is very professional and all of that. What I am saying is, I am not advocating you be unprofessional or not responsible. Not, no, not that. What I am saying is, if you need some time to relax completely, you need some time to be away from these things by choice. If you start to doing that, then you will be saved from this information overload, brain fog, overwhelm, stress and burnout, and all these things, because it's not just putting a stop or putting like a preventive method. I'm not talking about. I'm talking about gaining the inner resilience so that you have the capacity to deal with the challenges that come your way. Understand?
Yeah.
Yes.
I do appreciate that time,
Yeah.
to,
No,
to
that's
set aside and remind yourself that you have
yeah.
some, like,
That's a good thing you are doing. You're trying to establish connection with the nature, which is normal for us, but then we moved away from it because of the synthetic things we produced, and we think synthetic joys for a while, okay, but there are deeper natural joys. That's my experience. That's what I'm advocating. Don't take any alcohol, don't take any drink, or don't take any drugs. Don't. That's not my style. My style is how can we understand that way backward all the ancient experience of just keeping the eyes closed and then knowing our inner self and going deep within and then find these invaluable things that we have. You understand? Ram is here. Hi, Ram. Come on up. Hi, Ram. How are you?
Hello, Dr. Rao and Sonia. Nice to meet you.
Sanya, Ram is also our friend. Okay.
sorry. Hi, Ram.
Other day when I was talking to you, Dr. Rao, I was caught in the rain. Today I can talk.
Yeah. We are talking about, I started a new series yesterday. It's called Enhance the Humans, especially how can you boost the energy of the entrepreneurs in the current modern times. So I started today with the sleep, how a good sleep can really help the entrepreneurs to be focused, to be vital, to be able to enjoy their job, and also really not be a victim of the working conditions or information overload, all that. Okay, so I have already done the talk for about 45 minutes before Sanya joined. So we went into something deeper of spirituality nature, probably. Anyway, how do you sleep, Ram?
I sleep at least 8 hours, maybe 7 to 8 hours.
Yeah.
But nowadays I sleep less sometimes because I have to catch up with my colleague in Taiwan. So sometimes Japan. So although I like to sleep 8 hours non-stop because of the work pressures,
Yeah.
sometimes I have to.
How do you sleep quality-wise? How is the quality of sleep?
Normally good.
Not good.
Normally good. But recently I had a tooth implant surgery. Since last Friday, I have some high blood pressure and high pulse rate. I'm measuring constantly with the device. We use
remote
devices that can measure the
yeah.
data and upload into the cloud. So we have the app and backend, so I can monitor. So last night I could not sleep till 4 till 3 a.m. So I did the diagnosis myself. I found that I was dehydrating.
Yeah.
I drank a lot. And
see, I was talking about like a 4 components, just a beginning, like, how can you improve your sleep environment? How can you avoid all this electronic garbage, and regular sleep schedules, and also create a relaxing bedtime ritual to protect the body clock and all that. And then I also talked about yoga nidra and the corpse pose, the dead man's pose, that also we talked about. And then I was giving them the single best tip I can give is be attentive to whatever you are doing during the day while you are awake, and then your sleep quality naturally improves. There are so many things I talked about. I'll ask you to go back if you are interested to listen to the replay on that. So I'm going to continue this series on this boosters for energy for the entrepreneurs for a few weeks, I think 2 or 3 weeks maybe. So I'm going to take tomorrow this meditative aspect of how we can enroll that into our busy lives so that we are not exhausted in our minds. That is tomorrow. Okay. So, Sanya, if you want to talk about that, and if you want to come with, you know, kind of whatever questions or anything.
And that's tomorrow's topic, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you can ask me questions. I have time today, but what I'm saying is that we have an agenda now, and I have to invite more people. Probably people will come then, but then I'm happy to just to talk to a few people and leave the replay on. Then whoever wants to, they can talk, because a lot of Indians, this is too early for them. Like, where are you, Ram? You are not in India, right? Are you here in somewhere?
I'm in Florida, near
Florida.
Tampa.
Okay, okay. So you are in the Eastern time or Central time?
Eastern time.
Okay, okay. So you are 1 hour ahead of me. That's it. Okay.
You're in Chicago, right?
Yeah, Chicago area. I'm in Iowa actually, but Chicago same time. Yeah. I lived in Chicago for a long time, so I consider it as a second home. First home is in India, second home is in Chicago. So we go there all the time for mini vacations, shopping, lot of things we go there. So we go.
How far are you from Chicago?
From the downtown, we are like a 2.5 hours. Right.
It's like very close, like Allentown in
Yeah.
Pennsylvania, very close to Allentown.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Los Angeles Metro, similar, like Chicago Metro, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. I loved Chicago because I loved the life around the lake, and we used to live on the lake. We used to take a small boat, go into the lake, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I was in Chicago in 1985, January. It was brutally cold. I went to see CS Towers and all that.
Oh, I was in Chicago at the time.
Afterwards, it was so cold.
Yeah.
I thought Chicago is not for me.
Yeah. It is like very cold during the winter time, but then it's very nice during the summertime. And I enjoyed my Chicago time because I used to acclimatize myself by layering clothes, right? We wear that. And then I used to go to the forest preserve because I was in the suburbs later on. So there were several areas, the forest preserves, very nice, go and walk. They used to always clean the roads there. So we used to go and walk or run. And that way I acclimatized myself because it was very tough for me in the beginning, but then after I wanted to really understand it, I began to go into snow and maybe take cross country. Those kind of things helped me a lot. Then the winter became fun. It was not suffering at all. You can go and do lots of things after you worked up your metabolism and you really got all the heat in there. Oh, by the way, Sanya, did I tell you about this, how they handle extremes of weather in yoga? Because right now, my sister was telling me from India, they have very high temperatures, in 46 centigrade. That means 125, maybe something like that, So how do you handle extreme weather like that? So I happen to have some spiritual story about it, and then it is combined with yoga also. What it is this Ramana Maharshi, when he was living, he was living near a mountain called Arunachala, and like in what is this, Arizona, that place that is S, it comes as with S, very significant mountain there, very spiritual. People feel the vibrations when you go there. Just like that, Arunachala in southern part of India, very hot place, right? There's black soil, black rock is there. So, but this man was visiting Ramana Maharshi's ashram. But Ramana Maharshi at the time, he was going around the hill. That was his ritual every day. two times he will go around. I think 12 kilometers, that means 6 miles maybe. He walks around that, twice a day. But he walks barefoot, and he doesn't have any problem with the heat, right? So this other man came. He also didn't have any shoes or anything at the time, and he tried to touch his feet to the floor, and they burned. So he said, "I, what is that you are doing to me? I'm not able to place my feet on that. I cannot to walk like that." Then he tells him, "Okay, think of this. Aham Surya Asmi. Aham means I am. Surya means I am Surya. I'm producing heat. Think of like that. And then this man tries that, and after a while, he able to really not focus on the burning feet, but on the inner sensation of it. And then he was able to tolerate it, and he was able to walk. And from then onwards, he never wore any shoes. And then he was doing the same thing of several decades. Another person asked him, then he told them this. So this is in yoga is mentioned as uh, withdrawal of senses. Okay. What it is like you take some food, right? And then you take that food and everything inside. That's a ahara, right? But when you don't take the sensory input, which is also considered ahara for our mind, then you don't accept the effect of the oncoming sensations on you through the senses. It's complicated, but you can achieve that. So many of the people, they live in Delhi, for example, with all the pollution, and they don't complain about it. They kind of go about it. They work on it, especially the yoga people. And then they go to Himalayas for a retreat, and they don't complain of the bitter cold there. Like Ram is experiencing a bitter cold, it is much more than that, right? So how do you handle elements? Because some of it is because we kind of live in a very safe environment, very domesticated environment. So we kind of develop kind of uh, weakness for the extremes. We cannot tolerate them, like. But then we think that's a good thing, and we'll go back. But then people who live outdoors, who never come to this kind of thing, they say we are in the lap of our mother, which is the earth. And then the practice that they call is called pratyahara. Pratya means I'm rejecting. Ahara means whatever input coming from that sensory data. I mean, this is all esoteric. You people may not understand it, but it is there. See, what it is if you explore scientifically, Sanya, you're seeing a sun rise, right? You have the sensation of sun coming into you, and it's basically the sun is not within you. You have the experience of the form and shape and everything as a nervous response within you. So there's a object, the sensation coming from there, touching your mind, and then forming a shape or whatever that is, that experience, and that is your nervous system experience. So you will actually see the sun and everything according to your neurological development, and it will change all the time. So for the complete experience, you got to really understand the object is not separate from your nervous reaction. So once you achieve that state, then these things won't bother you. Did it make any sense to you guys? You got to tell me.
Sort of.
Yeah, I thought so. Because this is basically, imagine, ahara means food, right? Pratyahara is opposite. whatever food you get neurologically, either through the thoughts or to the physical stimuli, that is all coming to you and you're accepting it, and then it forms a reaction now. But in this case, you kind of allow the sensation to come, but then will not accept that. That is a control that the yogis have. Anyway, I have a lot of experiences like this. That's why I come and tell about them. Doesn't mean that people who don't have them are not normal or not doing anything. That's their way of living. And if you really want to be equanimous in a very, very cold weather like Chicago, and then you want to go to Arizona and live there for some time, that heat, we were there at one time. It's very, very hot there. I was attending a conference, so I took my family with me. Kids were small, so we had a water park and the conference happening within the hotel in there. So it was very convenient for us. The kids and Dharani were able to go to the water park and enjoy while I went in the conference. But that was so hot, and then it was reminded me back home in India. You know,
It's good, Doctor.
yeah, it's a very very difficult things to understand and participate. There's a lot of um, discipline is involved to get these things, because there is a body response, there is a mind response, and people are kind of established like a what they know scientifically is the only thing they think they know, and then they cannot open their mind and absorb these things. So, for example, I myself, I don't have that much of cold when the winter is there. Whereas my wife says, "Oh, this is cold." Even the heat is there, now she will be saying, "Oh, this is cold," and all that. But I don't feel anything like that, and I don't want any blanket or anything. Also, sometimes. It is very hot. Also, I can go and walk outside. It doesn't bother me that much. You know. So definitely, the practice has an influence on my receptivity of this extreme climates. So kind of equanimous. I think that's very good thing. I think.
Yeah, if you can survive weathers like that, right? Because
Yeah.
it is everywhere.
Yeah.
And I have, I think you talk about that story about the boy, right? He
Yeah.
went through different challenges and through different seasons and different villages, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
One of those stories, anyways, that I can recall.
Yeah. Well, there is so many experiences like this, but then yogi is somebody like I'm the scientist in me. I want to test the hypothesis with objective data and see whether what they are claiming has come true with my experimentation. That's fine, okay? But with the inner experience thing, I cannot say somebody else has it so that that is true. I have to experience myself. That is the yogic way. Yogic way is you got to experience within yourself by yourself, and that experiential knowledge builds up. If you just follow somebody, that's not real yoga. They can do it if they want to, that's fine. They have gurus, they have people who guide them, they kind of follow. That's their personal thing. But for me as a yogi, I got to experience myself. Otherwise, it's not valid. See, when I heard that Ramana Maharshi story about Aham Suryasmi, I actually applied that, and then, if not completely, at least I don't respond to the extremes of weather like my family members do. So, definitely, I was helped by that. The very fact I'm aware of that really reduces me complaining, because there's nothing to complain about. And also more acceptance of the extreme weather. That means inclement weather, I will be careful about going into the storms and all that, but otherwise they don't bother me that much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I will have to review that
Yeah.
because Yeah, I think, yeah.
I'm
Because,
just relating to you how
yeah,
that is. You see, um,
yeah.
like I said, you got to experience yourself. You should not believe whatever I said. You have to go and experience yourself. Then only, if it is in your experience, it is true. Then you can look into that. Maybe that will be more for you or less for you, whatever it is. Right? Actually, there is a yogic path in our Indian Prime Minister, Narendra Modi. He has a tree in his backyard, and he laid a path of stones around the tree so that he can walk on them barefoot, so that he'll have the massage of his feet by the rocky path that was deliberately built for this. I am trying to get something like that. you know there are mats, and there's something that I can, our yoga studio is big enough. I can put like a 10 feet for that kind of path and walk across. That will be good, because lot of acupressure points are in the palms and also on the sole of the feet. So if you allow them to get the pressure from this kind of rocky path, uh, that is very good stimulation for a lot of energy circulation in the entire body. So that's why he kind of is a very efficient, at the same time very effective way to influence our energy patterns. So I'm looking for something like that. We'll see what we get.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that's
I,
like
I, I like, anything that,
simple. Yeah,
walking.
yeah, simple walking, and then also uh, that really helps us a lot. I saw him doing that, and then also I know what he did. June 23rd is the International Day of Yoga, right? So they started 1 month ahead, I believe, this time. So they are now celebrating International Yoga all this month, climaxing to the International Yoga Day. I'm going to do it in a big way too, so that all my people, everybody knows about it, because I have to plan it. So far, I have not planned it. I was doing it on the same day, but this time I want to lead up to it. I want to tell them about what are the benefits of yogic lifestyle in the current generation. Why it is some of them are really important too. So I want to present that to them. Maybe I'll give some wellness club participation and all that for a few days before that. What do you think, Sanya?
Sounds good. I'll
Yeah,
join you on the wellness,
yeah,
into that
yeah.
afternoon.
So, so that people can listen to it and understand what it is. There is a for. I think that's a good thing that they did that International Day of Yoga, and many countries are celebrating it, even though they are doing very minimal form of it. As you know, I talk about what is the real yoga and all that. This physical yoga is only a really tiny part of real yoga, but at least they are introducing themselves to it. And then yoga breeds this regularity in life, and then helps you to organize around certain kind of things, so that you sleep better, you eat better, you kind of don't exhaust yourself with overthinking. And also, if you really do very well, your metabolism will be better too, because internal massage of the organs is done by the yoga postures. A lot of people don't know that. So I can introduce all of that to people who don't know, or share with some things that people are interested in, that kind of.
Dr. Rao, I have a question for you. I have metatarsalgia on my right foot.
Ah,
Do you recommend walking on the rocks or bricks or sand?
no, no, no. What it is you got to have hydrotherapy. Okay,
Okay.
that is easier for you, because you that pressure is easy, because metatarsalgia is like a enhanced neurological perception. That means you are more uh, uh, hyperesthetic. That means your sensation is heightened. So you have more pain that way. You understand? So your neurological pain will be aggravated if you have associated any hairline fracture or anything like that with the toes when you're walking on the rocks. So I don't require. I'm glad you asked me about that, Ram. Yeah.
So hydrotherapy.
Hydrotherapy, yeah, water. You can have a simple, like I have a tub that have the hydro jets and all that there, right? After the yoga, you can go and sit on there, and then all the bubbles and everything coming up help you.
The foot massage machine, will that help?
No, that is also not the same thing. There's more pressure, right? What it is, you want the buoyancy. That is when you immerse yourself in water, you lose the water, the weight of yours, right? And then also the water bubbles acting on the area is much better for you.
Okay.
Foot massage and all those things are also same thing. They can be too much for you. But you may try it after a while. After really healed up, then it is okay. You can do that. But otherwise,
It's possible to recover from metatarsalgia. The fat deposit is gone.
yeah, that is very, very different because there is a acupressure yoga. Okay, that is something that you can learn yourself and do the pressure points by yourself.
Okay.
I can teach you. You can come and attend one of my classes. Then I can teach you that.
Okay. When
Because
is the class? Next class. Next class.
oh, every day, morning and evening. Evening is kind of I preponed it because of this 6 o'clock thing. This is now 4 to 5 in the evening, and the morning 6 to 7. Morning I didn't change because whoever signed up, some people come, some people don't come. Sanya used to come quite a lot, but now she's busy with her work. But otherwise, many people signed up. They attended only 3 or 4 sessions, and after that they didn't. They're paying the money, but they don't come. But I do them anyway because it's good for me to do that in the morning and in the evening, right?
So 4 to 5 minutes, 5 to 6 Eastern time.
Yeah, that's it exactly. But you could tell me what's the day that you are free, and I'll check that is I'm free. Then I'll send you the Zoom link because it is done on Zoom. Okay. Yeah, first 1 or 2 classes I kind of give them complimentary, but if they want to be the member, then there's a nominal charge for that.
Sure.
Actually, Tanya said several thousands of dollars people charge for that. But I just want to encourage them to get in there and then see what is the most important thing is regularity. That is very difficult with the work patterns in America. People are really honestly interested, but I can understand why they are not able to do that. And this is also another thing, not like you learn to jog and you jog. That's not it. There's a lot more learning to do. Even Sanya, she came almost a year. She is learning the deeper things now. She's understanding them now. So I don't throw them and overwhelm them because it will take some time, to decondition yourself to understand all that. That is what I'm doing as a physician. We are used to a lot of lifestyles that are not helping our general wellness, that's not helping our chronic disease patients. So what I am trying to teach them is understand your lifestyles, where you are going wrong, where you are doing things because you are not really know any better, basically. But if you're taught about that as a child, as a school, as a family, and all that, you would have done that. But because you are not understanding, like for example, I do the same kind of work. I kind of do the same kind of meetings and everything with other doctors, no, but I sleep very well and they don't. I have a high energy, they don't. I don't take any medications, they take. So I have no habits of smoking alcohol ever, and they don't. So it's a kind of you have a loving kindness in your heart. They are kind of irritated, and then they kind of short with people and all of that. So there's so much more involved in this than just blindly accepting modern lifestyles are good and then spoil our health in the long run.
Well, back to metatarsalgia. Walking barefoot on the grass, will that help?
No, because you are putting some weight on the damage. Actually, you'll keep on making it. But what you do is you kind of lay off the pressure and then do the things that will help. That's why I suggested pressure with your hands a little bit, and then you will know about it. Then the other thing is you get to have the massage with the water bubbles, that kind of mild thing. Taking the weight off is the main thing. Okay, and then also any torsalgia, any neuropathic pain takes a long time and sometimes may never come back. Okay, but perception of the pain we can train you so that the same pain will not affect you as much as it did before. This is very much known, everybody. It's not the amount of pain, but it's the anticipation of pain that bothers people. 60% of them is that. But if you somehow bear it, somehow have measures that can really reduce the suffering from the pain, then you can live with it better.
I heard somebody say it's all in the mind.
Yeah, it is. That's what I'm saying. That's what
Until it's not. Until it's not.
It's not really in the mind, but how you trained your mind. You see, you can train your mind to increase your threshold of the pain, thereby your perception of pain will go down. You see, we have a saying in medicine, in yoga, both of them talk about this. It's called pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. You understand?
So if you accept the pain, suffering will be gone, correct?
No, not accepting pain. Approach to the pain is changed, then suffering will be lessened.
Okay.
See, you don't have any option about the pain because it is there, but your reaction to the pain can be optional. Some people bear a lot of pain and then they do work. I see that with a rotator cuff injury in the shoulders, a lot of patients, if they even lift big tires and all that. This guy actually was a truck driver. So these are truck drivers, like independent business people, right? So they kind of do a lot of their own repair of the truck because they are caught with that on the highway. So they have to be really heavy lifting people working on the truck and all that. So this guy suffered a third degree layered rotator cuff injury in the shoulder. So if you look at it, other people will not be able to even move it. But this guy was going on, but he had to come and fix it because otherwise he will be termed as disabled. That's why he came for that. And then I had to find a special surgeon for the shoulder who happened to be in Texas and send him there. This happened like 10, 15 years ago, not now. But then I remember these guys are really severe pain will be there for other people, but by the other it doesn't touch them. He doesn't take any alcohol, anything like that. But he kind of puts up with it. Wear down, they call it. But the mechanism is how you are trained yourself about the perception of pain. Usually, a lot of people increase the threshold of the pain by not taking pain medication that quickly. Okay, so then you can learn to be with the pain or increase the threshold, not even be with the pain, increase the threshold so it doesn't really bother you. So that is where that pain is inevitable, it is there, but suffering is optional. This is an important thing because I used to take a lot of interest in the chronic addiction, chronic the people who are used to the pain medications and all that. So in yoga, for example, as you go into um, advanced yoga practitioners, for example, um, pregnant women carrying children, they are trained to really train the muscles in the birth canal so that when they have actual labor, they can deliver the children much easier because they're already used to there are exercises that we teach them so that those muscles are really trained that way. So when it really comes to delivery, they can have easier time compared to that. So I teach what's called antenatal, postnatal yoga. Antenatal, to make it easier on them is with the vomiting that they have, it makes it easy. Breathing exercises we teach them. We teach them pelvic floor exercises. All those asanas help them. And then after the baby is delivered, then to tighten the abdomen to make sure they don't have the ugly fat and all that. Also, the spine is not affected, their back is strong. And we use postnatal yoga that is done every day and all that. It's a very valuable service, So yoga can be done either it can improve the condition or it can alleviate suffering from the condition or it can find the reasons and not to manifest the condition. So many ways you can incorporate that into the modern medicine so that my treatment of my patient is qualitatively improved a lot. Suppose you keep the patient like me, I am so much of age, but I don't have any problems. And I'm kind of, I had problems, but I've overcome that, right? Now, how I'm maintaining is the thing. I don't take any medications, but I spend a lot of time on, yoga and exercises and all that. But what I have the quality of life in terms of able to do stuff, enjoy them, and also share them. That is optimal. So no limitation of energy, or no limitation of not able to go this way, that way. All this after suffering a big stroke in 2014 and getting out of it in a month, and then coming to the functional level that I have achieved. So there is a lot more things that I have employed for my recovery like that. At the time, it was about being in the moment, present. And second thing is micro yoga. Like I was telling you some things of micro yoga to you, to the metatarsalgia, you know. And then basically metatarsalgia is like an inflammation around it, and probably some neuropathic is there because the subcutaneous fat is gone. So nerve endings are much more exposed. That's why you have all the pain. And the third thing I really helped me was this deep breathing. And then bonus was I was able to spend a lot of time on spiritual introspection or inner exploration. So that I'm liberated from my mind, which can make me much more sicker. That is the part.
Did you say micro yoga?
Yeah, micro yoga. That means your part is involved. You focus on that muscle and make that muscle. You are so focused on that. For example, I have left side complete paralysis. So you focus on that and then slowly visualize. Slowly, all those things are directed to. Basically, as a yogi, you are in touch with your body parts, and you are in touch with your mind parts, and you are in touch with your body and mind, which are your instruments. You don't get swallowed by them. You don't identify with them. You don't think I'm the body, I should be this. You don't give an identification to it. You don't give identification to your thoughts also. That's the problem with the intellectual. They give identification with the thoughts that they have, but then thoughts are only your property. You are the owner. So you being the owner, that is where all the spiritual thing is. I'm pretty deep in these matters because I want to help people to be well like me. Like I'm living in good energy and having able to do a lot of stuff, writing books now, making videos, coming and talking to people like this and all. But I think lots of times people don't are not interested in these things because they are not familiar with them. Once they get familiarized, once they know what I'm talking about makes sense, I think more people will make use of this knowledge, and then they will make their life better. See, I'm not like a one particular religion, one particular country. I'm a world citizen, accept wisdom from anywhere, ancient or modern. And I'm not prejudiced about ancient wisdom. Actually, they are really wise. We are kind of nervous people. We are kind of really gone in our minds. They are together. They have much more balance, much more energy, much more joy in their life. So I'm trying to um, bring that attention to other people so that they can also make use of it. Some of the people, they know a little, they go and tell it in a business wise. That is what I don't think it will help in the long run. So people have to come and say, okay, let me be the student and then let me learn. Then leave it, and then other people can be shared. But it's all money here, so people go into that all the time. One of the things with the deep yoga, deep Vedanta, what happens is you are liberated from this greed, from this money attachments. Here people all think. I think Krishnamurti, I think he said very beautifully. They see the people who have climbed the ladder and made the money, and they think because of the money their lives are very good, but they don't know inward they are broke too. But then that's why the people who are on the bottom of the ladder again want to do the same thing, but in the process they lose something very valuable of trying to be themselves, be what is inward. That's a diamond they don't discover. That's why they are always going after something outward, and the illusion that is going to give them this satisfaction, happiness, peace, and all. It doesn't happen. By the time they realize their life is already spent. You know?
I have a question to ask.
Yeah.
What do you think of intermittent fasting? I've been doing for many months, 14 to 16-hour fasting.
No, I don't do the fasting, Ram. I do, but maintain the same weight because yoga always talks about you eat only when you are hungry. Actually, they recommend develop a ravenous appetite and then only eat. But this time thinking and all that, we kind of decondition ourselves in a different way. So for me, according to the activity I may eat, according to the need. For example, I'm going for a brisk walk for about 2 miles, 3 miles. I may take a small sandwich or something, there's all vegetables and all that. And then I may go there, then the body needs the calories and all that. That's fine. Otherwise, I try to take fruits and water. And also, I don't take them at a time and all that. I had to tell my wife so many times, I will ask you when I'm hungry, but she wants to come and feed me every time. Do something else. Oh, this is a good mango. Get this. So I had to fight her all the time. No, no, no. I'll ask you. Don't come and feed me. But she thinks that that's a role to feed me. So what I do is I will come and ask you, or just put it on the table. I'll come and eat you. And then today also, I didn't have any breakfast like that, and just a small oatmeal, I think, in the morning because I was hungry at the time. But then I was doing all the work, and we watched the cricket match and all that. Then we had work and all that. Then around 3 o'clock, I became very hungry. Then I asked her to bring me some food. Then I ate. So that is what it is. If you are not allowing the body clock, diurnal rhythms, uh, functioning normally, then you will have to do the fastings and all that because you're eating too much maybe, or the body doesn't know how to do. Generally, normal routine is, imagine this: you are somebody who is working physically all day, right? So you get up in the morning, and because you ate very early in the night, the night before, so you wake up very good appetite. Maybe you do a little light exercise, whatever, and then you have a good appetite. So breakfast should be your main meal, and then you go to work. Don't eat snacks between meals. And also, if you are hungry, have a light snack for the lunch. No snacks in between, right? And then maybe water you should be drinking. But then when you work through the afternoon, no snacks again. Then you come home really healthy, hungry, eat early before 8 o'clock. Okay. And then give couple of hours before you sleep, right? Then go to sleep, and in the morning again, the waste is gone. Then you'll have a good appetite. That is the natural way to do that. But people have,
That is once you are fit, but if you are not fit,
yeah, you
so
can
you
do
are
that.
going to
You
skip,
can,
skip
ah,
dinner once in a while.
yeah, put a formula like every seventh meal, miss it. Don't have to do anything big time. Just every seventh meal, miss it.
Okay.
So you have to make it simple, otherwise it kind of becomes a chore, right? And then also try to come back to this diurnal rhythm of the body, where body demands food when it wants it, right? It's very hungry, satisfy it, and then don't feed all the other things in between, because it is a social ritual, or it is something pleasing somebody, or it is a pleasure. That's a problem, right? People make food as a pleasure, so they kind of succumb to the taste. One of my friends, he's an actor in India. He kind of he's a foodie, right? And he goes to all sorts of restaurants, and then he makes vlogs, video logs, right? And then he promotes those restaurants. They're all junk food, they're all processed food he's promoting, but he says, oh, I'm giving them business and all that. But at the same time, because he thinks I'm enjoying it and all that, but he's cultivating this taste and addiction to the foods like that. Now, if he develops diabetes or other conditions where he will have to cut down on those bad foods, then he will have a reaction from his addiction. Like that, people are fasting because they allowed their body natural metabolism to work, and then they kind of messed it up, and now they are imposing all these behaviors. But there will be some times when you have to cut down the food, you have to see the content of food and all of that. And also, if you have a real big appetite, you got to understand you have to control it somehow. But then people have religious things like a Ramadan or something. There are so many their own things, right? But if you talk to me as a scientist, this is what I will tell you: allow your body to mechanism naturally as much as possible. Okay, learn from it now. And then if you are sick from the overweight, yeah, we have methods to allow you to fast more. But then the quicker you come to your natural rhythms, the better for you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rao. I'm done with your walk.
Yeah.
I'm trying to jump you at 5 p.m. tomorrow. Eastern time.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
So this intermittent fasting has become a real fad, Sanya. A lot of people are allowing them. The unfortunate thing is there is a yo-yo thing in this. People do fasting forcibly, suffer that, and then they lose some weight, and then they start to eat again, they again raise. So then they feel depressed because they were not able to keep the weight off. So what I'm saying is, why you have to make it a psychological thing, everything? It has to be joyful. It has to be something natural. That's my style. What do you say, Samya?
Sorry about that. Intermittent fasting.
Yeah.
Yeah. it does work.
It does work
But
to take off your weight, but then it brings it back.
yeah, yeah,
That's what I'm like. Say my style. I'm not talking about intermittent fasting. I don't think I don't do that. But basically, but what I'm saying is, what about my style? What how I am doing it?
yeah. For like what we discussed was around, when you eat when you're hungry, right?
Yeah, that's it.
And
That
eat
is as simple
fresh
as that.
tomato,
Is
right?
that? But it's very difficult in this atmosphere because people made it a food as a social thing, as a pleasure thing, as a psychological thing, and all that. And that they don't see deeply. You see. See, there's a saying, I think I might have told you. Are you eating to live or you are living to eat and enjoy?
Yeah, it'd be nice if we have a combination.
No, no, that's exactly the problem, you know.
I know.
So,
I know.
uh,
With regards to, of course, conscious
yeah,
eating, like,
yeah.
those kind of things is what
A
does.
lot of people make it a social thing, make it a something obese people eat with obese people, you know. They make the eating experience itself pleasurable. That's how they live for, and they are foodies and all that. This enormous industries go on, and that's why they cannot really do that, you know. And also, you need some mental resolve to be away from these temptations to later on. So it's a lot of suffering involved in the food habits. That's what we see. But this is, you know, ancients had one of the requirements is they recommended you maintain your body weight. Don't be too much weight or don't be too thin. You just maintain healthy weight all the time. So that's one of them written in that eight principles I was talking about immunity. One principle is that you maintain natural body weight for your age and sex and work and all that. You know, so people who are fighting wars, they're asked to maintain natural good weight, and that's also not flabby, but then really muscle and all that. So there are certain principles that are very natural, very easy to do. See, a lot of this time, what happened in America is all the good things they kind of covered them, and then they made these things that are not needed for you as essentials and making money on you. So if they correct the food, if they make everybody exercise, if they make everybody rest and sleep properly, and if they make them don't think too much, I think many people will be very healthy. And then a lot of pharmaceuticals will not have business. A lot of hospitals will not have business. Only people who are acutely sick, infection or cancer or trauma or need surgery, those kind of people will go there. But majority of the people will live in health and wealth and joy. That's what I promote all the time.
Yeah, it's good.
Pretty deep thinking is there in that, you know. But the health industry, everybody has to pay attention to these things sooner or later. I'm trying to educate as many people as I can about how they can take charge of their own health, their own wellness, their own joy factor, and all that. You know. Did you see my new slogan? To live long, well, and enjoy, to have inner health, wealth, and happiness. Come and see BFR. That is the new slogan. What do you think about the slogan, Sanya?
That's good, doctor.
So, I mean, I have to tell
People
them,
have
right?
to like,
If I tell them,
the tagline so they remember it.
yeah, I mean, if they have any common sense, I think they will read through it and say, what is they talking about? And then they may ask questions, we can tell them. But we want to do it everything in love and joy. So if they accept, that's good. If they don't, that's fine. That's their business. You know, so. So anyway, I think we talked about a lot of things apart from the sleep. And tomorrow we will talk about maybe attention and mindfulness, something like that, and see anybody has any problems. We'll talk about that too. Okay, Sanya, we'll close the room for now. I think we went 40 minutes extra then.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, I had the time, so I was able to do that. So that's fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
sounds good.
I'll see you tomorrow. Okay.